Welcome to the Digital Success for Business Growth podcast. This is the number one place for entrepreneurs to learn proven marketing strategies to actually help you grow your business online. My name's Leanne Cohens. I am the Digital Success Coach and the owner of the agency Marketing Leap. And as a marketer, my focus is to actually help you lose the marketing overwhelm. In these podcasts, I will give you tools and strategies to help you springboard your business to success by sharing what I've learned in over 25 years as a marketer and over 30 years as a business owner. And yes, I started very young. Constantly applying what works over the last 10 years of running my digital agency by offering entrepreneurs like yourself business marketing strategies. I believe that marketing is the single most important element when it comes to business success. And that's what this podcast is all about. Helping you grow your business through proven, effective, modern marketing strategies so that you can help more people and make a lot more money doing it. This is our first ever podcast, and I'm really, really excited because I have my co-host Karen O'Connor with me. Now, Karen, you've got a podcasting agency, and one of your big things is actually helping people to market their business online through podcasts. What are the benefits of podcasting for small business?
Oh, there's a loaded question, right? Hello, I'm Karen. Look, I'm really passionate about people having their own podcasts and YouTube channels as well, to be perfectly honest, because businesses today, as you know, people connect with people. They don't go to the yellow pages anymore and, let your fingers do the walking, as the old ads say. And people don't see a nice web page and go, oh yeah, that looks good, I'm going to buy from those people. People actually need to connect with somebody personally. And the best way of doing that is to get in front of the microphone or the camera. And a microphone is a little bit less confronting maybe than getting in front of a camera, but it allows your personality to come through, and it also allows your expertise to come through. So I see podcasting as the premium, best way of sharing your expertise with people and setting yourself as the go-to expert in the field that people should be working with. That is the benefit of podcasts for small business as far as I can see.
And I suppose that's the interesting thing, like for me, with the agency. I mean, we do everything. We do SEO, we do email marketing, we build websites and do the social media management as well. But the biggest thing that I find with business owners is, and looking at the engagement rates, especially with social media and what you have to do to drive traffic to your website, a lot of business owners are really, really struggling now when it comes to getting people to see their business and actually showing up online and getting business owners to find them. That seems to be the biggest issue that I find. A lot of them are now, I had a meeting with a client last week who they've spent so much money on Facebook ads, and it's not that Facebook ads don't work. For them, it was something as simple as the messaging that they were using just wasn't resonating with their audience. So having something, and one of the things that we actually discussed was them as business owners being a lot more personal and showing up as themselves and talking about their product as themselves. Because like you say, people want to deal with people. And it's interesting because you have so many, famous celebrities, and over here in Australia, we have so many reality TV stars that start their own podcast now. How do you find that, like from a marketing perspective, talk us through that, how you find that working for small business because you have a very successful podcast and you've been running for how many years now?
Oh, nearly 4. Scary thought, but 4 years in January I've been going. Yeah. So look, I have had somebody say to me not that long ago when I was talking about supporting other people to launch their podcast, she'd seen somebody else advertising to do a similar thing. She's like, oh, you've missed the boat. There's too many podcasts out there now. Nobody's going to want to launch a podcast. Like, really? It's like having a web page and saying, don't put up a web page because there's too many out there now.
Yeah, there's about 9 billion websites out there. So, yeah.
It's a really good point because It's not about being part of a saturated market. That's the wrong way of looking at it. To me, having a podcast is like doing your Facebook ads and having a website. It's almost becoming a necessity because it's the way of drawing people into your business. It's the way of proving that you know what you're doing and you really do know your business here and you really can support people. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the crucial thing that people need to know in order to buy from you. It doesn't mean that your kind of marketing is irrelevant. It's a supplement to make that marketing more effective, if that makes sense.
And not only that, it's a lot of people now with their lifestyles. I mean, I've done a huge amount on YouTube and, a lot of videos, and it is a great way of getting in front of people. But a lot of people these days don't have time to sit in front of YouTube. I mean, okay, a lot of, statistically, it's 75% of males that do. But, a lot of people, I know myself, like I follow Mel Robbins and it's great. I go for my walk in the morning. I've got her podcast on and I can actually listen as I'm going. So I think having that evolution of moving from visual, which you do still need, and I think that's the frustrating thing for a lot of business owners now, is there's so many elements. You've got to have a website. You've got to figure out which social media platforms you need to be on, and that'll be a different podcast in itself. Of how do you know what social media platforms to show up on, and then you've got to do your SEO and you've got to do your email marketing. And now people are saying, okay, well, you don't just have to do video, you've got to do audio. And it's having it in such a way that it complements. And that's what I love about what you do with Speak Up podcasting, because it's actually supporting business owners on showing up and not only teaching them what you need to do to start a podcast, but giving them that support. So what do you find are the biggest issues that people have or business owners have when it comes to actually starting their own podcast? What are the support services that they need?
Oh, the big one is it's something else to do. Like, how time consuming is it going to be for me to do a podcast? Because you got to record it and then you got to edit it and then you got to add your intro and outro and then you got to upload it and then you've got to make sure that it's going out at the right time, and you don't know how to do any of that. How do you edit the thing in the first place?
I'm exhausted already.
I know, right? There's two main barriers. The first one is the time thing, and the second one is the effort that it's going to take to, first of all, learn how to do it, and then secondly, to do it on an ongoing basis. My brother, for example, he's been a radio presenter for many, many years. And he started his own podcast with a friend of his. They had guests on and they just put out one episode a week. But even he stopped fairly quickly. So I think the figures are something like 80-something% of podcasts never make it past their 10th episode. And it's because of the effort that it takes. It's a huge number that don't make it past their 10th episode. So if you've made it past your 10th episode, you're doing really well. Bingo. Good on you.
So someone like you, who's sitting at what, 200 and...
Yeah, 200 and I think 13 or 14 went out this week. Look, those two things don't need to be an issue. Do you know, pet hate? Okay, pet hate warning coming up. I hate it when people go, oh yeah, if you're going to start a podcast, you need to go and buy this microphone and you need these headphones and you got to make sure you get this software and go. Seriously, you don't need to do that. That is a load. You know what I did to go and buy my microphone? I walked into one of the big stores. I'm going to name them, JB Hi-Fi. Give me a kickback, please. And I found the geekiest looking person that I could and said to them, are you a gamer? And they said, no, but they are. They're great. Went over to the gamer and said, okay, I'm starting a podcast. Which is the best microphone and headphone? And they were, oh, well, and they told me all the details. Saved me weeks of looking around on the internet. It's little details like that really make a difference. And they're so easy. When somebody says that to you, you go, oh my God, yeah, that's so easy. But it doesn't need to be difficult. Do I plug here or what? Because we can do the editing for you. We can do the uploading for you. We can write the show notes for you, even write in the show notes. Hate writing show notes. I have somebody do mine. But even that can be really time consuming because that's the draw card for people listening to your podcast. Getting the graphics right. That's where Leanne comes in. She does my graphics as well. All of those things. It's that thing. If all you have to do is sit down and spend 10 minutes writing out bullet points of what you're going to talk about, because your podcast does not need to be an hour long. If it's just you talking, 15 minutes tops, I would say. 10 minutes even. Doesn't make a difference. If you can do 5 minutes, here's my tip of the week. People will listen to it because they like short things. So the time doesn't need to be an issue.
Actually, it's interesting that you say that because Mel Robbins, that's how I started following her. She had these 5-minute, almost like 5-minute pep talks, and I'd be going for my walk and okay, I can do 5 minutes of, listening to an American accent as I'm walking around the lake. And that's what got me in because it was just 5 minutes at a time. It's not like I've got to lock myself in for half an hour and listen to, oh God, what are they talking about now? Like it's completely irrelevant to my life. Yeah. So that's a really great tip actually, doing the 5-minute.
Yeah, just short. It doesn't need to take a big amount of time and you don't need to learn to use a lot of things. You don't even need to use any special equipment. You've got your headphones on, your earphones on. It's fine because the things you record with now cut out the background noise. They cut out the echo. It doesn't need to be in a sound recording podcast anymore. And deepest apologies to my brother, who as a radio presenter is absolutely convinced that's what you need to do. But we'll disagree. We'll agree to disagree on that one.
Well, actually, one tool that I've found that works really, really well is an app called Crisp. And I've tested it now. I mean, I have an 18 and a 21-year-old, both boys that still live at home. And as you can imagine, if they're not working and they're not at uni, they're not the quietest creatures under the sun. So having Crisp is great. And even when I'm having meetings, like Zoom meetings with clients, it's awesome because it completely cuts out all the background noise and no one can hear anything. So you're right, there's so many different apps and things out there now that can be used. Yeah, I'm really excited to see where this podcast heads off to and how we go with it because one of my passions, and I know it's the same with you, is just helping business owners understand the digital space and understand how to market their business without complicating it. And, without spending thousands, because I mean, I know what you've been through with your business and the money that you spent and people do. And it's a story that I hear time and time again. I had just a meeting yesterday. I'm talking to a client about, strategies for her showing up online and she has a salon and, the money that she has paid for SEO for her website. For what? She had no idea of tracking whether it was working apart from the fact that she wasn't getting leads. And, going through and explaining to her how that works was fine. But it's so frustrating for me as a marketer when I hear business owners who don't have infinite resources spending so much money and not getting results.
And I agree with you. It's if you put it into that perspective, that's a really good point. If you think about you're putting out 1 5 to 10 minute episode a week, the most you're going to spend on that, if you're using like a paid platform and you're using a paid editor, which are $9 a month each, and that's all you really need to pay for because Crisp is free, isn't it? You're going to be spending $20 to $30 a month on something that is you're going to get a massive kickback from because your marketing people can use it. Like you take shorts and reels from my podcast to use on social media as part of the advertising, and it just makes a big difference because people there's a lot of outtakes, let me put it that way, because people can relate to it a bit more, and it's a good indication of who you are and what you know, and you get a lot of mileage out of doing podcasts because you can use the recording for all sorts of things, especially when your brain stops.
Well, exactly, and that's a big part of why we started this podcast. And I mean, if you've got this far after us talking, you're doing well. But I mean, that's one of the big reasons that we started this was the fact that with what we are doing with and with what I'm doing through the agency and with what you're doing with your Speak Up podcasting, the biggest thing is actually just showing business owners that it doesn't have to be complicated, and you can create one piece of content and from that change it out and just edit it out for so many different platforms. And the funny thing is with all the platforms is the minute one does one thing, everybody else follows. So TikTok started, so Instagram said, all right, we're doing Reels. So Google went, you know what? If TikTok's doing this and Instagram's doing this, we're doing Shorts. And it's the same thing that's happening all the way through. So, if you can do one piece of content and then push it out with just a little bit of editing to get in front of your ideal audience, then why not? I mean, that's not really what I was trying to say. But yeah, if you can understand how to do it so it saves you time and saves you money, then it frees you up to focus on what you do best, which is, growing your business and making more money and helping more people with doing what other people do as entrepreneurs and business owners. With this being our first episode, if you've got this far, well done. As you can now see, a lot of our focus and everything that we're going to be doing is talking about all the different elements of marketing your business and how you show up online and how to actually use a lot of these tools and find workarounds and almost like cheats on how to market your business so that you do have more time. So hopefully you have got something out of our little conversation today when it comes to podcasting and marketing your business. And in the next one, we will be talking about how you can effectively market your business online. And each different episode will be focusing on a different element of digital marketing. And there is so much out there. Thank you for listening to the Digital Success for Business podcast. Make sure you join us each week as we discuss proven marketing strategies to help you grow your business online. And don't forget to jump on and subscribe so you get notified every single time a new podcast episode goes live.